Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to EGL. It's another race in the SLR No Assist tier. New thing. We had our first race last week, and it was a good one. I'm Icewind, and joining me in the commentary booth like last week is Pretorius. Good evening to Pretorius as well.
Yes, good evening, guys. Good evening, viewers. I'm really looking forward to this one. We come just off the back of a pretty good Tier 2 race with a lot of carnage, so I hope we can get something as exciting, but hopefully minus the carnage.
Yeah, indeed. Just finished. It was a bit delayed because we had to restart the tier 2 race there, but we'll see what happens in our race in a few minutes time. I've brought up a couple of pointers here for this race, and first of all, I think it's, let's say, if we're in dry conditions, it's a pretty simple one-stopper, right? Soft to medium, I think so. What?
Yeah.
And do you have any other ideas for that, Pretorius?
I mean, honestly, I don't remember much of the tire, but I imagine if there's a safety car in lap 1, then they will probably go for hards, but other than that, it's just a pretty simple soft, medium, soft strategy.
Yeah, indeed. And then my second point here is that there's plenty of overtaking opportunities. This is kind of a legendary track, I would call it, Spa Francorchamps, and we have a lot of long straights, fast corners, and plenty of wheel-to-wheel racing opportunities here. So I'm expecting this to be a good one. One thing to note, we're back to dynamic weather, and as I actually see on the other screen there, it's gonna be wet quali at least.
Uh-oh.
So.
Oh, that's heavy rain, I think it looks like.
Yeah, definitely. We'll hop on over there in just a few minutes. And then I had a one pointer here just as a kind of a meme here, because Chief holds the SLR lap record on this track, which was 0.9 seconds from last season. So if anybody wants to beat that, they have to do about 29,000 kph average speed on a lap here to beat that. So that's gonna be a tough one, I think. Anyway, that's a joke if anybody didn't get that, so a bad one. Just before we actually dive into the action, I have quickly the championship standings here, which look like this. So Tipsy Bob won the first race we had, and then on the green color we have also chosen to accommodate the reserve guys, challenger guys here in the championship to keep it interesting in that sense, and they also gather points for the teams here. So that's gonna be a bit of a different way we handle it in the other tiers, but we'll see how that turns out. So Tipsy, Grenadier, and Ocean Chief are the top 3 in the standings at the moment, and we'll see what happens after this race. Yeah, I suppose if nothing else, we can dive into the action, right? So, and Tipsy Bob saying in chat that last week was a fluke. I don't believe you, Bob.
Well,
you have it in you.
He has the experience with no assists, of course, but as the season progresses, I expect that some of the drivers who are new to no assists, but whom are normally very fast, will probably pick up the pace and be the front runners.
Yeah, and first car on track is Fropsy. Let's have a look. This is still an outlap, so and yeah, it's definitely full wet weather conditions, as you said. So everybody out there, everybody who has gone out at this point are on full wets. As expected, it looks to be raining very hard, and Tipsy actually giving us some information in the chat there. So heavy rain quali the entire way, I guess, and then dry race start, but there's a possibility of rain at the end, so we're gonna have it all.
Yeah, and if you're fearing driving with no assist, then no assists in the heavyweight Spa is definitely not gonna make you comfortable. I think it's they're really jumping in on the deep end here. If those guys that are new to the no assists, at least.
Yeah, indeed, and just anybody following us in chat, can you give us an update that the sound levels are alright and stuff. I did try to check that beforehand, but it's always good to hear from the audience as well that it's as it should be. And yeah, do you wanna? We kind of didn't agree anything about this, but do you wanna try and commentate a bit what Fropsy does here on the first lap?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, sure.
Yep.
I haven't. I raced in the wet here. I think season 4 or 5. Not a particularly easy one, I say, especially in Rouge. But yeah, braking already quite late. Sort of braked at the normal braking point, I think, for the dry. But of course, you can't really do that in the wet, and the Fropsy goes a bit deep into turn 1. Also, really difficult to get the throttle down on the exit, and then we go through Rouge, which is very difficult in the wet. It lifts quite a lot and doesn't really use the whole track here actually, but not too bad so far. At least he made it through. And down to Lake Combe, turn 5, down to he goes very deep there, braking too late. Almost think maybe he's just not quite used to how late you have to brake in the. I don't really know how much experience Robson has with no assist, but he seems to be braking a tad too late for the wet conditions here, I would say. But turn 8 then, getting the throttle down and then going deep in turn 9 as well, hitting the wall there. That's not a very good lap from Propsy. I think I can you can agree.
Yeah, and he has to abandon that one. Who is following? Is that Gerla maybe behind him on a lap there? So let's try and pick that up instead.
Yeah, and of course in wet conditions, something we see quite often is drivers do several laps in a row, so you don't have to firstly waste additional time getting in and out of the pits, but also because it helps a lot to have done a lap. Like if you do 2 laps in a row, then you will have the experience from that past lap, sort of feeling the conditions from that lap, and then you can bring that knowledge into the next lap, so you sort of get used to the conditions and know exactly what to brake. So yeah, doing several laps in a row is definitely something that helps in these conditions.
Yeah, Gerla, I think is about to set the first lap on the board. We're also a little bit deep on the brakes into the bust up chicane. Elster actually retired from the session. He's crashed out at Stabilo, hasn't he? So trouble. Yeah, there's his broken car in Stabilo. So yeah, Elster is out of this session. The first car. Why can't I? Oh, there we go. Yeah, his car is right in the middle of the road there. Oh my god, that was scary. Flesher were almost driving into that. Yeah, it's gone now, but yeah, Elster out of this session. Grenade Joran has set the pace early on in the session, so 58.4. We're about, what is it, 15? No, it's more than that actually. Like 17 seconds from like the fastest times in the tier 2 quali just 2 hours ago.
And just looking at the onboards, it seems a lot of drivers are struggling with their braking points at the moment. But as mentioned, that's something that they're gonna get used to once they've done a few laps. Especially when they do several laps in a row, they're gonna get the hang of it pretty quickly, I would say. Get up to pace. Yeah,
following also Ocean Chief here, who runs also very deep into the last chicane, and Ocean Chief across the line, and Ocean goes up to P5. His teammate Shakalaka across the line a little bit before him and is in P3. Let's see, who else can we pick up on a lap? I think Tipsy has started his first run. And I would hope that ghosting is on. Asking for a friend, Jensen. Yep. I did at least try to check the settings, and I was just using the same preset I used all last week as well. So hopefully they're on. Just echoing the situations from the tier 2 race just a couple of hours ago, which we had to restart anyway. Tipsy, Grenade Yarn actually improved by almost 2 seconds, 56.4 for him, and Tipsy's done 26.5 into the second sector, so he should be somewhere in the region of Shaq and Gerla, I think, if Ocean Chief second sector is anything to go by. So let's see what Tipsy can do. Sonny goes P2 actually, 57.7. Still quite a big margin to Grenade Joran. I think the margins might be actually pretty surprisingly big here in these conditions. And Tipsy across the line just behind Sonny. Third.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the conditions improving here, if it's just the drivers getting used to the conditions, but Chief up by 2 seconds at the start of Sector 2, so
okay,
a lot of improvements so far.
Yeah, and Chief is just about matching what Bob did into Sector 2, so Chief possibly looking for a top 3, provisional top 3 position here, and Chief across the line, and it's a 58.1 for Chief, just behind Bob, about 0.2 away. And let's see, Boosted Mess at least is on the lap here. He's just started his first run, I think. Or at least hasn't set a time yet. And through Eau Rouge you have to lift quite a bit in these conditions, as Boosted has to as well. I'm always a little confused. Do you call it Eau Rouge or Eau Rouge Radion, or what's the actual like proper way to call it? But you know.
I mean, I just call the whole thing Eau Rouge, but if I have to be specific for some reason, then obviously call the top of it Radion.
Yep. Boosted on his way, didn't really get quite the best of the lines through Les Combes there, but he's on his way. And Kebab is actually fitting inters in his car in the pits. That's interesting to see. Could it possibly be raining less at the end of the quali? Maybe it is raining a little less right now.
It actually, now that you mention it, does look a bit lighter, I would say.
Yeah, so we could have a different set of tires. Kebab actually sets another set of wets on and back to Inter, so he's definitely comparing the Delta right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something you can do, of course, in the garage. You can look on the garage monitor on the Deltas and see what the Delta pace is between the Inters and the wets.
Yeah, and Torska also doing the same thing, so I think it's getting close to a crossover point here. The Boosted Mess, I don't think it's gonna be threatening anyone in the lead right now, but he should be somewhere in the mid-pack here, and he's getting that power down from the last corner and across the line. It's P12 for Boosted so far, with a 2-minute flat 0.2.
And Kebab now going out on those Inters, so that's a sign that they are the fastest tire at the moment. One thing that the drivers have to watch out for, which I've noticed with long circuits like this, I experienced it in Baku, is that you sort of in these wet qualifying sessions you can very easily lose track of time, and suddenly you realize you don't have time for a last lap, because obviously when the track conditions are constantly improving you want to be out at the end, but on a circuit that is so long you just don't really notice the time, and suddenly the time is up. So
yeah,
obviously you have to really be wary of that timer and make sure you time your laps right, so you can get out for a final lap right at the end.
Yeah, and we've actually seen that even in dry conditions yesterday. I think Wimpy and somebody else got caught out in the Tier 3 race yesterday in the last minutes of the quali and missed the line by 2 seconds or something like that. So yeah, it's easily done on this track. I'm not sure, did Kebab end up like blocking Ocean Chief, by the way, there on the Camel straight earlier that lap? Chief was like weaving a bit, so I'm not sure what was going on there.
That was a bit strange, yeah, but I was on board with Kebab. It didn't really look like he was blocked that much, but maybe it's had.
And we have live information on screen what tires the guys in the pits are fitting on. They're going on softs, but I think it's definitely too wet for that for now. Let's see what Kebab can do on these. There's a McLaren behind him, he has to get out of the way. And there's another Alfa Romeo approaching now, so Kebab is in a bit of a difficult spot here because there's a lot of traffic ahead of him. And he has to once again take avoiding action of, I think that's Shakalaka. And Kebab actually has to stop outside the track, so not great. But he gets a nice clean air for him now. So let's see what he can do on these Inters. It looks very treacherous though. Kebab starting his lap, approaching Lasores, and goes very deep here. It looks... kind of, the track looks a bit too wet for Inters right now, doesn't it?
I mean, not visually in terms of the track itself, but I suppose in terms of the way the car is handling, maybe a bit.
Kitsune in chat saying that she's been busy triggering Americans on Facebook. It's interesting. Kebab with a 33.6 into Sector 1, which is still pretty far off the best sector time into Sector 1 here, but he's improving by a second, and he gets a bit of a snap there in on top of Malmedy. And then the plunge into Rivage. Downhill right-hander and then no name, and very cautious for Kebab on this lap at least. Approaching Poo on this would be almost flat out in the dry, but definitely a big lift in these conditions. And let's see what Kebab can do into the second sector, which is coming up after what is the chicane called? It's called I can't even say that in English.
I don't remember, to be honest.
Leifanye or something. Anyway, 1.5 seconds up for Kebab. So he should be somewhere in the region of Boosted Mesberas in Kersey, maybe. So let's see what he can do. I can say it as they would say in Finnish, but I think nobody wants to hear that on this broadcast.
What do they say?
Less fogginess or something.
Okay.
Anyway, you don't really pronounce it. Kebab across the line, and it's a 59.8, so he improves quite a lot, but is still down in P13. But I think it might be time for Inters now.
Yeah, and as I was mentioning with getting caught up, by the time we do have a lot of people, at least 2 people still out on wet tires, so I wonder if they have been caught out by the timer just running out quite quickly, although Kersey is making his way into the pits. I think it's too late though, because he's gonna have to get into the garage and then out, so... Well, the timer, there's the timer bug, of course, for the spectator mode.
Yeah, so there's actually
they have more time than we think.
About a minute more than it shows, but it's gonna be very tight for him to make it out anymore.
Yeah, but Barricine is definitely not gonna make it though. He's in turn 8 at the moment, and there's no chance he's gonna be able to make it back to Fit Inter, so that might really cost him a lot of places here at the end.
Yeah, our championship leader Tipsy Bob starting his first Inter run in this session. Let's see what I can do. A bit loose in the middle of a rouge there, and then charging up the hill on the Camel Straight, and let's see what the sector 1 split is for Tipsy. It's almost 8 tenths up for him, or 7.5 tenths up, and that's very quick indeed. If he can keep that up. And yeah, Kitsune is predicting in chat that Tipsy will win. We'll see. Tipsy won last week, so there's a good chance for that. But I think he's gonna face stiff competition from at least... Yeah, I'm kind of expecting Sonny to be pretty quick. He's been a bit, how do you say, not so consistent this week in the other races, but maybe he's found some consistency for today. He's done a couple of races already this week. At least one. Can't remember if he did 2 races or just 1. Tipsy 1.7 seconds up, so this should be easily provisional pole for Tipsy once he crosses the line. I'm not sure if there's somebody ahead of him on the road as well, but I think Tipsy is the first guy to actually set of the top runners anyway to set a time on these Inters. And into the bus stop chicane, and then struggling to get the power dump, short shifting quite hard, which you have to do in these conditions, and it's a 55.5 for Tipsy, clear pole position for now.
Yeah, that's very clear, but as we say that, then Gerler slots into second, so definitely improving a lot now at the end here.
And then there's
the
Flesh River. He's only starting his lap, and who is the next guy coming? It's Williams. This is Grenade Joran, who is not improving this lap, so he's definitely lining up to start another one. trying to pick up who is else there. Alexander, at least, he's invalidated, so he's gonna have to go again as well. Ocean Chief has also invalidated. Everybody seems to have invalidated. Shakalaka maybe not, so let's see what Shaq can do. Was a bit unlucky last week, right? So he got spun around in turn 1.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he had the net lead actually at that point. Was within penalty range of the lead, I think. So maybe he could have been the winner last week. He certainly seemed fast.
Yeah, and Shaq, I know for a fact that he really likes this track. It's also one of his strongest tracks, as he said himself. He's 1.1 seconds up as well, so Shaq looking to improve his time. And is Chief actually even gonna make it on another lap here? Let's
Yeah, we're not sure when the checkered flag is out.
It's now actually, so Chief doesn't make it for another lap.
Okay.
And so this is definitely for Shakalaka and many of the guys who've started their run. It's the last runs that we're following here. Shakalaka out of the last corner, and across the line it's a 56.5 P5 for Shaq so far. And what can we follow at the back then? Flesh River at least is coming. Was Tipsy Bob still on a lap? I'm having trouble following. Tipsy Bob is pitting, so he's not improving. Furiosus, I am Furious, whatever he is called. I'm gonna call him Furiosus because that was his old nickname. And he goes across the line in P4 for him. Good lap. And what about Grenade Yoran? He's improving by a second. So, Gerla actually goes P1. And I've completely missed that, so he's taken pole by over a second there.
Oh, wow.
And Grenade Yoran, the final corner, let's see it. He was -1 second on the delta, so possibly P2 for him on the grabs here, and it is indeed P2 for Yoran. About 4/10 from Gerla, who is on pole. Is there anybody else who is on a lap? Sonny maybe?
Yeah, Sonny not able to make it a 1-2 though.
P3.
But a 1-3 for Red Bull.
Yeah, that's strong performance from those guys. Quite a I would have expected it actually, and Trevor Linden is invalidated his lap, and then there's only Fropsy left, but he's also going very slow, out of fuel, I think, or something. So that's pretty much our qualifying. Gerla on pole with a very good lap. Grenade Yoran second, Sonny third, and our championship leader Tipsy Bob in P4. And behind him, it's a very close field once again. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one, because I think, for example, Ocean Chief has a bit more pace in him. Fropsy actually goes just off the track there. So
yeah, and
very slow, very strange.
We're seeing Isaac in chat saying that Flesh River said he's gonna win today.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to that actually. P7 to P1, that would be a sign of an exciting race, I think.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting to see what people do with the strategy here, because everybody's gonna get free tire choice. And since we know that rain is coming at some point later in the race, is it coming soon enough for just doing a no stop until that? So about to find out, I suppose. Yeah. On the screen you have our qualifying results. Gerla on pole, Grenade Yoran second, and Sonny third. And then I'm just gonna scroll down to the bottom to get everybody on the stream here. And Elster, of course, having crashed out, didn't set a lap time in this session. And then a few times, few guys didn't manage to set a time on the inters at all. So.
And Flesh River on the Discord actually typing some question marks to Julius. Maybe it sounds like maybe he got held up by Julius or something, I would imagine.
Okay.
Got impeded his lap, I would imagine. But yeah, maybe Flesh River has some more pace than he showed in qualifying.
Yeah.
And yeah, Julius at the back actually I think has been grinding this track for quite a lot, grinding the practice laps out to try and get closer to the rest of the field. He was some 3 seconds off the pace of the nearest car in qualifying in Hungary, I think. So I think he's done. He's improved quite a lot to be. What is he within 1.5 seconds or something of the nearest car here on the longest track on the calendar in the wet? So seems like he has improved a bit at least.
Yeah, and I just following the chat here, a lot of guys from LOR supporting HesiX here, HesiSX. I always say HesiX, I can't say HesiSX. Very hard to say. Anyway, he's starting in P9. Let's see what he can do from there. And all right, let's have a look at the strategies. It's a nice split actually between everybody. So Gerla starting on mediums, then Joran on softs, Sonny on mediums, and then another 2 guys on softs, and then mediums, softs, mediums, and so on. So it's a very split strategy here actually, and it's looking quite gloomy, isn't it already? On the weather side of things.
But it's definitely a sign that the drivers aren't quite sure when the rain is going to come, I think.
Yeah,
many different strategies.
That looked like almost contact with Ocean Chief and Kersey in the on top of Radion there, but I think they got away with it. Maybe that was just lag and nothing actually happened, but it looked very dramatic for a moment. Yeah, they didn't make contact because otherwise they would be on the grid already. And Ocean Chief actually leaving a very big gap to the car in front. So he's trying the old Astro Boy strategy maybe. Doesn't really work in this game, I think. Astro Boy strategy for the viewers is that you like leave a big gap and hope that the guys in front sitting on the grid get very cold tires. But I think it doesn't work like that anymore, does it? And Julius was disqualified from the session. Oh my word, guys, that's a bit unnecessary. So they've touched each other somewhere on the formation lap, and they're gonna be sitting on the grid with a bit colder tires than the rest of them. It's not racing conditions, guys, so just take it easy on the formation lap and behind the safety car, if we get one. But we'll get there if we do. Yeah, Gerla actually going quite fast on the formation lap, so there's a bit of a gap to Grenade Joran behind him.
It looks like it's going to be a pretty interesting start, I think.
Yep.
With those people on softs at the front. So maybe we'll see some of those guys making some moves at the start.
Yep, indeed, and we're approaching the end of the formation lap, and then the AI takes control of the cars on the way to the grid, and then after that we can get going. 2 cars already on the grid there, as you can see, Alexander and Julius, who made contact on the formation lap, so they've been disqualified from that, and they're gonna start on a bit colder tires than the rest of the field. Gerla lining his car up onto pole position, which is on the inside. That's also an interesting one. I think the inside is a bit of a difficult one for this track, but we'll see what I can do from there. And it's almost time to go 4 lights, 5 lights, and then I guess we get this traditional small wait before we actually get going. This is always tedious as heck, but anyway, we finally get going. Gerla gets a pretty good launch, but I think Grenade Joran, those softs, has already made the move into turn 1, so he leads the race. Behind him, Tipsy Bob was slotting into 3rd, so Tipsy also a good start. Sonny 4th, so those medium starters in a bit of trouble there, and I see a yellow flag already. Who is that at the back? Julius has had an issue, right? So he's out at the back, and I'm gonna follow what happens here at the front. Furiosus is trying to challenge Sonny into Lacombe chicane, but unable to do anything about that, at least on this occasion. And other than Julius having some kind of contact or whatever happened to him, it looks like a pretty clean start.
Yeah, and Joran with that superior grip of the softs, just launching really easily into the lead, into turn 1, and yeah, getting a pretty comfortable lead already. Tipsy now pressuring Gerla for that 2nd place.
Oh, and he's on the inside in the middle of Puon there. That's very dangerous. And then approaching the fast chicane here, but Tipsy wisely chooses to back out of that one. That There was really nowhere to go on the outside on that occasion. But yeah, these soft runners actually have to get a move on here. So they're doing exactly that, or trying to. Ocean Chief has lost a lot of positions, by the way, at the back. He's down in P4. Furiosus actually gets a very good run onto the back straight and overtakes Sonny over there, and is through into Blanchimont, and then we approach the bus stop chicane. Gerla's actually managed to close in on Joran quite big, and as Chief had an issue at the back there. He's got wing damage.
Alexander just getting up the inside into Blanchimont. And Chief wants to go into the pit lane, and Torska gets in the way there, and that's damage for both of them. I think actually that's slightly clumsy from Ocean Chief, I'm afraid.
Yeah, disaster for Chief. He's gonna have to pit, and this is gonna be a long race for him now.
And Torska just absolutely sends it into turn 1, just as if he had no brakes, and straight into the back of Boosted Mess. And I was just about to say that Torska got away without wing damage after the collision with Ocean Chief, but now
not anymore.
Definitely has wing damage.
Yeah, did Boosted Mess pick up damage there? No, so he's at least got away with that.
He got hit in the rear, so it was fine for him.
Okay, and just trying to catch up again what has happened here. Let's have a look at the position change here. So Grenade Joran, of course, basically those soft starters making up positions at the start. Fropsy also 7 positions up in P10. So he's had a wonderful start. And maybe settling down a tiny bit at least now. My gaps are kind of going haywire. Fropsy already picks up 3 seconds. So just as I say, he's had a great start. He's been cursed.
And interestingly though, Ocean Chief actually opted for the hard tires in the pit lane, which suggests that, I mean, we had reports that there was going to be rain in the race, but if Chief is opting for the hards, then it's a sign that he's just going to go to the end, and we might not actually see any rain. Because if there was just going to be rain towards the end, he might go for mediums instead.
Tipsy Pop makes a move on Gerla there, up to P2 on the braking into the bus stop chicane, and now he's going to have to try and catch Grenade Joran for that DRS, because Gerla is going to have DRS now on this lap. This is lap 3, right? It's not a bug. So
it is lap 3, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to get DRS on this lap. Gerla, I wonder if he's close enough to Tipsy to try a move back on those mediums. He gets a bit loose on the Eau Rouge, and I think he's too far back. Tipsy actually derating already, so he's used up all of his battery in that car, and yeah, he's managed to drive back up to the DRS range of Grenade Joran at least.
And on the Camel Straight, Hesse SX just losing 2 positions down the straight to Barrison and Fropsy with the DRS, so there's just a bit of a sitting duck there, not really any straight line speed for him.
And that's yellow flag in sector 1. Is that
Torska again? No.
Yeah, he's coming out of the pit lane, so I wonder what happened to him. I don't know.
And all 3 guys that have pitted now have gone for those hearts, so...
Oh my god, Torska almost spun it on top of Radion there. That was scary as heck.
And who we got? Williams.
Oh, that's Trevor Linden, who's around at Puon, and he's missing a chunk of his wing as well, so that's a disaster for him. I'm not quite sure where he was actually running before this, but he's now lost a lot of time, and he's probably gonna have to pit as well. A lot of incidents, and Gerla and Tipsy Bob fighting again, and Gerla actually gets that position back. So yeah, Grenade Joran.
Fropsy going deep.
Oh, at the
Fropsy going deep into the bus stop there, but I thought he had made the move, but just outbraked himself into the chicane, and then Kebab managed to get past.
Oh, and fighting into turn 1 is Barassin and Fropsy. I think Barassin on the inside, and Barassin is he gonna make that move there side by side, but looks like Fropsy gets a bit of a better run out of turn 1, so Fropsy keeps that position for now. And then down the Camel Straight, DRS wide open. Is Kebab possibly gonna try and make a move on Shakalaka here? He's gonna try and send it on the inside, and they're side by side, and it gets a bit tapped on there. Oi, 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 and we have a yellow flag. for that, hopefully nothing else. I don't think so, because there is no debris on track. Kebab, yeah, I'm not gonna make any calls about that one, but probably something for the FIA to look after. Unfortunate contact, and Kebab loses a lot of his wing after going into the barriers after that contact, so yeah, he's gonna have to pit as well. A lot of guys at the back now already after just a few laps.
Fropsy managing to, with the better grip through Pruhan, actually managing to somehow get past Shaka into turn 11, I believe it is. I don't know if Shaka is just struggling a bit on these mediums, but it's even with a harder compound tires an unusual place to get past.
Yeah, maybe Shaq is struggling a bit to get the groove on. He doesn't have any visible damage, at least in the car, so maybe it's just getting into the rhythm for Shaq early in the race. But he's gonna have DRS here now, at least.
And now it's Fropsy leading this second DRS train here in the middle of the field.
Tipsy Bob
gonna be hunting down Flesh River.
Actually, both of the Ferraris right on the back of Gerla here through Eau Rouge and Radion, and then onto the Camel Straight. I think could both of them actually try to make a move on Gerla here. Tipsy Bob is completely out of battery. They're gonna go 3 wide here, so Furiosa is deploying everything he has there. Ferraris are side by side. Oh, don't collide on the straight, guys. And yeah, Furiosa stays behind Tipsy Bob there. So Tipsy Bob back up to P2, and Kebab chooses to retire in the pit lane. That is a bit unfortunate. So yeah, tough race for Kebab today. And there is that HesiX? Has HesiX had an issue at the Lacombe chicane? Yes, he has. So HesiX has spun. I wonder if that's contact with somebody or whatever has happened there. I didn't see that. And he doesn't have damage, at least. Nothing visible. So yeah, maybe just a spin. And I think that yellow flag in Sector 1 is Kebab's car coming out of the pits, is it?
Yep, it is.
Yeah,
and
parked right in there.
Just
yeah.
Just noticing it seems to be getting a little bit more sunny, I would say, a bit clearer in skies.
True.
Not so cloudy anymore, so that rain that we had been promised seems pretty unlikely now, I would say.
Yeah, or it's at least very far away at this moment in time, and Tipsy Bob is gonna be under pressure again. So this three-way battle between Tipsy, Furiosas and Gerla is gonna continue. And La Vie Fasole picks up 3 seconds. There's a few guys who have already done that. Fropsy is actually up to 6 seconds already. Which is probably gonna cost him quite a bit at the end, and Furiosa's almost on the back of Tipsy Bob through Eau Rouge and Radion there, and then I think this is gonna be a move with the power of DRS. Is Gerla gonna try and also send it down there? I'm getting a horrible camera angle. Gerla is on the inside, and it's the same incident as they had with that such a difficult corner to try and do that. And Gerla is around. He's trying to turn the car around.
Embarrassing.
Don't get
on the outside.
Oh.
On the outside of Shaka going into Lacombe, but couldn't really make the move stick.
Oh, but Furiosa picks up 3 seconds as well. We have a yellow flag somewhere. What was that? I'm not sure. It's gone already, so probably somebody just touching the grass or something. Yeah, that's a tough one. I wouldn't be calling anybody out right now. I think the FIA will have to have a look at that after the race, but pretty similar to that other contact with Kebab earlier. Just a couple of laps earlier.
And Fropsy, I was actually expecting after he passed Shaka that he was gonna be hunting down that front group of, or at least the P4 and 5 group of Sun and Flesh River, but seems to not really have the pace to catch up to them. He's gotten away from the DRS of Shaka now, but still he's lost time to Fropsy, so
yeah,
not really anybody. Oh, and Alexander now on the outside into the bus stop of Berezin, but I get squeezed a bit on the apex there on the inside of the exit, but yeah, he went a bit deep, I think, into the chicane and couldn't really make a move.
Shaka is gonna be under massive pressure on the Camel Straight here because of the DRS power of these guys behind him, who also have Does Barastin actually have a full battery, or am I seeing this right? So
Yeah, just about, yeah.
he should be
And
easily able to make this move.
we've seen a few guys losing 2 positions on the straight alone. Because they didn't have any DRS. It's just so powerful here, and here you see Shaka breezing past. Is Alexander gonna be able to follow through? No, he's not. He's too far back. So Shaka gets away with only losing 1 position this time.
Yeah, and Shaka has to try and hold on to this toe and DRS now from Barastin. We'll see if he's able to do that. There's a battle at the back there as well. Kersey overtaking Torska for P17, but this battle, unfortunately for these guys, is well outside the points. And Laviva Sole actually has made a pit stop for the softs at this point in the race. An interesting strategy call, I would say, at this point.
And what did he start on?
I'm not sure. Maybe you can check in the race director.
Yeah, he started on mediums. Not sure what that strategy is about, because he's definitely not going to be making it to the end. So maybe either he got damaged, and therefore the 2-star was better than going on the hards. But I doubt that, to be honest.
Yeah, or if the rain comes in 10 laps time or something, or 9 laps time or something, whatever those softs can do. Just following this battle for P2 here. Tipsy is still able to follow Furiosus, his teammate for this race. And Tipsy doesn't have a penalty. Furiosus have already picked up 1, so that's good for Tipsy. He's losing quite a bit of time here, so Furiosus is trying to drop him from that DRS range, but I think Tipsy is going to close it on this long camel straight.
And Frupsy coming into the pits for soft tires, actually. That's interesting, because he started on the softs, didn't he? But so now we're getting signs that the rain actually is gonna come. Either that, or these guys are just making some terrible strategies.
Yeah, and it's definitely not looking like it's gonna rain anytime soon right now, because the weather has kind of cleared up, in my opinion, what it was at the start. So yeah, we're gonna see what that's about. Flesh River picks up 3 seconds in P5.
Yeah, he was running within half a second a while ago, but then he sort of dropped back to outside the DRS of Sunny, so I thought that the crossover might have happened, but within 7 tenths again now, 8 tenths, so not quite the signs of a crossover yet, I think.
No, definitely not. By the way, Furiosus actually caught up to Grenade Joran here, so that is when did that happen? I kind of missed that, so maybe Grenade Joran has had a bit of a scruffy lap here. Let's see the lap times up. Grenade Joran is actually into the pits.
They both fit.
Oh, okay, Furiosus is following him, so let's see what these guys do. Yeah, you can definitely take the mediums to the end from here, right? So, provided it doesn't rain too much.
Flesh River also deciding that now is the time to pit, and so is Alexander.
Yep, Furiosus at least onto the mediums, and so does Grenade Joran. They're on their way, and keeping the same order as well. Furious is very close to the back of that, so Tipsy stayed out. And I guess he kind of had to stay out if Furiosus made that call to pit there.
Yeah. What
can they do? I think they're gonna get an undercut on Tipsy though. I think so. What is the pit?
Gerla on Shaka down the Camel Straight. Fairly easy one for Gerla, I think.
Yeah, Gerla trying to make up time for that spin a couple of laps ago. And he's... Let's see, what is it? He's lost, what, almost 14 seconds to Tipsy Bob there, so they were basically fighting in the same pack in that battle. And Gerla's race is, of course, all the harder for that. He will be on the softs at the end of the race, so he's gonna be fast, but he's gonna have to pull some kind of a magic trick to get back to that battle anyway. Yeah. So Furiosus and Grenade Joran actually caught up to Shakalaka here, and then Gerla is actually the next car ahead of them. So yeah, that's how much time he's lost in that spin. Tipsy Bob also pitting, so let's see where Tipsy comes out now after that pit stop. Should be behind these guys, right? Probably ahead of Hesi X. And Tipsy, having done the pit stop, the car's blasting past him on the main straight there, and Tipsy coming yeah, out behind this train, so he's lost actually quite a bit of time there in this overcut. Those softs must have been pretty bad on that last lap. He's 3 seconds behind Furiosus now. So that's
Shaka's about to lose some places down the Camel Straight, but I thought Furious was gonna want to follow him through and get past Shaka at the same time as Joran got past, but didn't really burn much of his battery, and therefore he stays behind for now, and that's gonna be costing him time to ruin.
Grenade Joran actually like flicked a red cross on his car. Furiosus out around the outside of Shaka. That's how much faster those fresh tires are at this point in the race, and he of course has to try and get that move done as quickly as possible, and he does so to follow Grenade Joran. Let's see what else. Yeah, so Furiosus is actually very fast at this point in the race, challenging Grenade Joran for the lead. Let's say the effective lead of the race anyway. And we have a yellow flag. Is that Julius? Yep, he's spun in the final corner there and manages to continue without damage. And then Sonny, yep.
Unfortunately, Julius struggling as he was last week with the spins.
Yeah, definitely pretty new guy to the game, I think, and racing in general, sim racing in general. So a lot of these guys here, like Tipsy Bob and Ocean Chief, and these guys are, I would call them veterans in this esport. So yeah, he's in tough company. Grenade Joran right at the back of Gerla. I think Gerla... Oh, Furious is actually surprisingly far back again on this occasion. Grenade Joran running out of battery. Gerla, oh, he goes! Oh. That's a bit of a late move. Reactive move, I would say, a bit Max Verstappen-esque from 2016, I think it was, when he blocked Kimi on that straight. And yeah, that was a bit dangerous.
But... yeah, I don't know, I was on board with Joran, it looked like he barely moved out to the side to pass. Actually, it's reminded me a bit of that incident with Gasly and Albon in Germany 2019. Gasly hit the back of Albon because he didn't really move out. It looked a bit like that, but probably a combination of the two that, moved from just one move for Gerla, but also Joran not really pulling out to the side enough, I think.
Yeah, hopefully he didn't pick up any damage there. Wing looks intact, but there's of course the chance of light green damage or something like that, but he's not really super closing on Gerla at this point anyway. Furiosus is pretty close again, and behind there Tipsy Bob closing in on Shakalaka as well. Tipsy should be able to make that move on the Camel Straight, I hope, for him. Oi! Furiosus spins into the final corner just as I cut the camera into that. He's made a clean 360, but he's lost a lot of time doing that. Tipsy is past him as well, and those tires are going to be a bit cooked at right now. So yeah, Furiosus making a mistake out of the final corner. That's a difficult traction zone, definitely, without assists, and we have a yellow flag. What is that for? Was that Trevor Linden having an issue somewhere in Sector 3, maybe? But yeah, Furiosus losing quite a bit of time. How much is he now behind? He's lost almost 6 seconds to Grenade Joran, I think. Who is...
And Sonny on Flash River.
Oh, and...
Sonny on the inside. He of course, Flash River tried that undercut on Sonny earlier on to try and get past, but they are on opposite strategies, of course, so Sonny managing to get back past fairly easily.
And Sonny already onto the softs. Is that a bit early?
Yeah.
What do you think, or is it doable from this?
I mean,
maybe.
I can't remember how long they can make, but from watching the other races, I think it's a bit of a stretch. Let's say that.
And Furiosus picks up another penalty now. He's definitely struggling with his rhythm a little bit after that spin, so he's up to 6 seconds now. That's gonna be very costly at the end of the race. We have a yellow flag in sector 3. Who is that? That's
a Haas.
It's a Laviv Sole, I think, who has wing damage, so he has spun somewhere between Rivage and No Name, I think. And he's, oh my word! He's gonna hit the wall! But he somehow doesn't lose a wheel. Oh my god. And he's well off the track there, and yeah, he's gonna have to pit for sure. Who is that into the pits? That's Gerla. But yeah, a lot of action going on right now, and that's also battling into turn 1, Shakalaka versus Tipsy Bob. Tipsy actually hasn't made this move yet, which is a bit of a surprise to me. Should be able to make it now. He just chooses to deploy enough. And he does that indeed. Shakalaka defending, well, doesn't really defend, lets Tipsy go on the inside there, and with the power of DRS, Tipsy should have this move easily done. Oh, and Shaq almost gives him a bit of a tap there on under braking, but they get away with that. And yeah, Furiosus also closing back on this battle, but he's got those 6 seconds to contend with, which is gonna be well, at least very difficult to get that 6 seconds on Tipsy Bob anyway.
And one man to watch at this stage of the race is definitely Sonny, who's on those fresh soft tires. He's pretty close to the leader, actually, I would say. We get a live gap here, 7.9 seconds to Barazine on a much. Oh, sorry, Barazine has to pit, of course. So it's actually 5 seconds to Urine. Yeah,
Sonny actually, yeah, you're right. He's much closer than I actually realized to the lead of this race, and he's getting a nice toe on the back straight here. Shakalaka is a bit of a sitting duck here. I think he's gonna pit this lap. Let's see, Barazin into the pits. Oh, and he hits the wall, and I think the game reset him there in the pit lane. I wonder if he picked up damage from that. And Shakalaka still doesn't pit, actually. I can't really see. Does he have damage?
Flash River spun out on the exit of the chicane. Oh, that's horrible for his result, really. But
he's at least the second car to do that, because Furiosus did it just a couple of laps ago. Furiosus, by the way, is about to overtake Shakalaka here on the Camel Straight, and then Sonny also right behind them. Sonny deploying everything he has in the battery to try and overtake here. 340 kilometers an hour almost down the back straight here, and Sonny does send it on the inside there with those soft tires and makes it past Shaq. Shaq tries to fight it back though, but I think Sonny will have this covered into on the exit of Malmedy on top of the hill.
Yeah, so Joran is gonna have to start watching his back now. That's gonna be a very, very fast Sonny right behind him very soon.
Yeah, and I've if I remember right, I think Tipsy has also managed to close this gap a little bit to Grenade Joran, so the gap is now 2.3 seconds. It was 3 seconds a lap or two ago, so we will keep an eye on that. And Sonny actually, yeah, as you said, is very close to the effective lead of the race here. And yeah, what else can we pick up there? Gerla also, of course, went on those soft tires. Fropsy picks up another penalty. I think that's 12 seconds for him at this point. Aye. And yeah, Gerla right in the back of Flesh River here. Flesh River is completely out of battery, derating down this back straight. So is Gerla actually going to make this move already into the bus stop chicane? Chooses to go on the outside. Flesh River guards that inside line, and Gerla, yeah, they're still side by side through the chicane, and I think Gerla is just gonna wait. Yeah, he wants DRS, right? So he's gonna play it like Alonso did in 2013 in Canada at least, and I think somebody else has done it in recent races, but that's the one occasion I remember at least.
Yeah, it's something we see often on this track, of course, because that DRS is so powerful here.
Yeah, and Gerla chose to play it like that, and he's gonna overtake Flesh River here, because on those fresh softs, DRS open. Flesh tries to cover it off, but there's absolutely nothing he can do with that overspeed from.
And
yep. Yeah.
Sonny, did he actually get passed by the Ferrari? So yeah.
Oh, Tipsy Bob is somehow in P3, so what has happened up there? I actually missed that. Sonny picks up
Oh,
a 3
Sonny
seconds as
yeah.
well. Aye. But what has happened to Tipsy there? Or did he just get surprisingly caught up by Furiosus and Sonny? But anyway, he's lost the position and is down in P3. But this pack is definitely closing in on Grenadier, and it's 1.7 now from Furiosus to the lead of the race. Elster also picks up 3 seconds in P11, and there's quite a lot of guys with penalties now. So it's quite easy to pick up at least a 3 second on this track as well, so track limits are quite harsh.
Yeah, so with that penalty for Sonny, then it's actually Tipsy Bob who becomes the main man for Joran to watch behind him.
Furious sets the fastest lap of the
time.
race, 45.5. That's very fast actually, so
yeah,
definitely got pace in that car. Yep.
He's about to lose second place here, I think. But
Tipsy got a very
proactive though.
Yeah. And Gerla actually steals that fastest lap by just a 10th.
But he's deploying.
Yeah, I wonder if this is enough. DRS is open, Tipsy is closing, he's on the... Yeah, I think he might be too far back to really try and send it. Yeah, I think Tipsy is not gonna go for that gap. And Furiosus outbreaks himself a little bit on top of the hill there, and then Sonny is right behind him on those at least relatively fresh softs. Trying to find a way through. And yeah, Sonny, I wonder if that was another warning for Sonny there on the exit of No Name. It's very close anyway.
As we see Trevelyan at the back putting into the pitch, he just got, I think he lost it on the exit of Stavilo and hit the barrier and got wing damage, so now he's gonna come in for wing change.
Yeah, and what is the closest battle here on track? It's basically this battle that Tipsy gets a very scrappy run onto the back straight here, and Sonny's gonna have a run on him into Blanchimont. Are they gonna go side by side here? And Sonny, I think Tipsy Bob is gonna let this one go. He doesn't really wanna, or not, I don't know. He's tries to hang it on the outside and then under braking into bus stop. But yeah, Tipsy struggling a little bit at this point in the race, but if he can just hang on to this DRS, that's quite crucial for him now.
Yeah, and it's obviously frustrating for Tipsy knowing that he's the main car to be able to fight contend for the lead of the race, and now the faster car with a penalty is overtaking him. So he's gonna be losing some time from that.
Oh yeah, sorry, it was just Shakalaka into the pits. I wonder if he was trying to do, because he pits this late into the race, was he trying to hang it out onto the rain, but it never seems to be coming, that rain. Still quite clear out there. Because otherwise it doesn't really make sense to drive 17 laps on those mediums, I think. So yeah, Shaq finally makes his pit stop and drops down to P9. Still has a chance maybe for Alexander if he can close that gap, but we'll see about that. In the meanwhile, Furiosus is actually closed right to the back of Grenade Joran here. So he's gonna be challenging for the lead of the race soon on track anyway, but he's got those 6 seconds of penalties to contend with, which is probably a bit too much to win this race anyway. And Sonny actually struggling a bit to close this gap back. They're 1.6 seconds away with Tipsy. And this is basically almost the only battle. There is a yellow flag somewhere in sector 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's another spin for Julius, I think.
Oh, yeah. So Julius not having the best of races today, but he's still sticking with it there. He also has wing damage now, I think, so I wonder if he's gonna dive into the pit lane here. No, he doesn't. So he's that's an interesting line through the bus stop chicane, but yeah. Anyway, Gerla also picks up 3 seconds. Is that, yeah, it's his first. But he's 10 seconds away from the next car, so that's a tall order for Gerla. Tipsy Bob actually about to drop from that DRS from Sony, which is... Oh, and that's who is that around there? Is that Furiosus? Furiosus has spun at the exit of No Name, and he's in the wall. He's stuck in the wall as well, or is he's just not? He is. Yeah, he's now managed to put it in reverse, and he's gonna get disqualified if he doesn't get a move on here. And he, oh my word, that's dangerous. Reverse. Fortunately, ghosting is on Jensen. But yeah, that would have been disastrous otherwise. Yeah, Furiosus gets back underway. He's missing a big chunk of his wing now. And yeah, I was kind of worried if that's gonna be a safety car there. And it's, yeah, yellow flags again. He's trying to stay out of the way on the exit of Puan there. Don't stay off the track too long, mate. You're gonna get a 10-second penalty, which he does.
There it is.
And yeah, Furiosus' race, unfortunately, is over. Pretty much.
Yeah, and as the race has settled down at the front a bit, the main battle to watch is this one between Elston P10 and Ocean Chief and Frupsy. And Ocean Chief with still no penalties. Obviously, he's gonna be gunning for that P10 as he always is.
Yeah, and he's got it in the bag so far anyway, because Elster ahead of him has 6 seconds. But everybody beyond that is of course a bit too far from Ocean. Ocean already, I think that counter is actually wrong, isn't it? Because Chief had to pit on lap 1, so he's actually driven like 18 laps already on those, or 17 laps anyway on those hards. We have a yellow flag again, or was that just Furiosus driving into the pits? And let's see if he chooses to try and maybe set the fastest lap of the race at least to steal that point away from anybody who's got it this far. Yeah, he's putting on soft tires and a new wing, and will try to gun for that fastest lap at least. Props for him to for sticking it out there anyway, even though he's basically out of this race now. Ocean Chief pretty close to Elster. So Ocean on those 16 lap or whatever laps they are old, 17 lap old hards is actually managing to hold on to this battle, which is pretty impressive, I would say. Because I think the hards are not great around here.
Yeah, just checking the lap times, and that number is definitely wrong. It's he did pit on lap 1, so
yeah, kind of weird. It's saying 16 laps. Because it should be like 19 laps right after this lap, so it's gonna be sure.
Also getting very wide there on the exit, and yeah, now it's a pretty easy move for Ocean Chief to get past.
Oh yeah, so Elster getting the exit of Stavelo onto the back straight all wrong, and yeah, Ocean Chief up to P10.
And what happened to Frupsy? He was right on the back of Chief and Elster.
And he's
a bit ago. Now he's 10 seconds behind.
And he has massive wing damage as well, so he's had a spin, I think, somewhere on the track. And Grenade Joran picks up 3 seconds, so his tips is still almost in the in the range of winning this race, but not quite. 3.4. And
this could be interesting.
Yeah, and Sonny, Sonny also has the 3 seconds. Barassin picks up 3 seconds as well. Penalties are rocking in. What is Tipsy's warning situation? Can you have a look at that?
Yeah. Yeah, Tipsy is on 1 warning which he picked up in lap 16, so it is looking like he's not going to pick up any penalties. But Joran, interestingly though, I think I checked his warnings around about lap 16 or 17, and he only had 1. So in a very short amount of time, he's managed to pick up 2 warnings, which is surprising given that he had a pretty comfortable lead at that time.
Yeah, and Sonny almost closing into that DRS range. Sonny is actually, his battery is at 0%, so he's used up all of that to try and catch up to Joran here.
And got a battle for P13, by the way.
Oh, and 3 wide into Lake of Chicane, and yeah, who is that ahead there? Is and Lavi Fasole loses it on the exit there on the curb, and almost spins anyway.
Just managed to hold on to it and not
Yep.
spin, but yeah, still lost a lot of time. And Furious, obviously one of the fastest guys in this race, as we've seen from his pace early on in the race, so should be able to get this P13 fairly easily. But probably no more positions beyond that.
And Furious trying around the outside. This is and this is a battle for just glory basically at this point. And that's a bit of encroaching on the line of Fropsy there on the exit of that fast chicane, and then onto the backstretch, and Furiosus gets through. And as Jensen says in chat, it is looking a bit gloomy now, but I think it's too late because this is the penultimate lap of the race, so the rain never kind of came, and Tipsy is just in that 3.4 second window still. Just outside of winning that race. What can he do on the final lap? Tipsy is also completely out of battery at this point, but so are the guys ahead of him.
Yeah, and what can Sonny do? He's within 8/10 at this point, so yeah, he's looking pretty fast, and they have the same number of penalties, so he might actually be able to take the lead on track. But of course, the question then is, where is Tipsy going to be at that point? If they do start fighting, it's very likely that Tipsy is going to manage to stay within 3 seconds, unless Sonny really can pull out a big lead after he's passed Uran. But he'll have to get past first.
Yeah, it's pretty unlikely, I would say, but yeah, we're starting the final lap of the race here. Sonny is got that DRS now on the main straight, which is quite short. Sonny doesn't get the best of exits onto the main straight there, though, and is right about on the cusp of getting DRS. Where is the detection point here? Is it enough? I think he's gonna get DRS, but he's definitely too far back to try anything here on this lap.
Yeah, we would have to be in the bus, into the bus stop. I think that's really the only option he has. But even that is going to be difficult.
Yeah, he's got DRS here, but it's almost a second away, so this is definitely too far back for to try anything for Sonny. And Tipsy is right on that gap there still, so this is nail biting to the end of the race here. We're gonna follow this battle. I think there is also a battle for P7 behind there with Shakalaka, and Shakalaka maybe closing in on Alexander here. Let's see what happens. Shaka get that
free as well.
Yeah, so Shakalaka making a dive on the inside with those softs and makes it move.
Yeah.
Makes it stick.
Just gonna get it either way on the penalties, but nice to see that he's not gonna back off, and just that he actually does decide to go for the move anyways.
Yeah, Tipsy is now actually within that window. Let's see what if these guys end up battling on the final lap here. That could be Tipsy's key here. Propsy retired from the session into the pit lane, I think. So that's his race over on the final lap of the race. And Sonny is very, very close to Grenade Yoran, but I think both of them are kind of out of battery here. So is it enough?
Yeah, and Sonny has picked up another penalty at some point recently as well. So it's not gonna be any more than a P3 for Sonny, unfortunately.
And let's see what Tipsy can do here, because I think Tipsy is right outside that window, so Grenade Yoran across the line, and I think he's gonna win...
3.1 still.
Yeah, 0.1 seconds, so Tipsy second. That 3 seconds, it was crucial for Tipsy that he couldn't quite keep in that DRS of Sonny for the remainder of the race. Gerla gets back to P4 after that spin. Barassin crosses the line in 5th, Flesh River in 6th after that spin. And then Shakalaka actually gets that P6 from Flesh River, because Flesh River had penalties. Yeah, then it's Hezi X in P8, Alexander in P9, and Ocean Chief, where else, P10. So Ocean, yeah, did manage to drive the entire race basically on those hards after lap 1. Aye. Yeah, and it's raining now. I see raindrops on the visor there.
But a well-deserved win for Joran. It was unfortunate for Gerla, of course, with that spin, having started on pole, but still Joran had great pace today, I would say, and he managed to take the lead at the start with the softer rubber and just held on to it from there.
Bit of a battle here on the final lap of the race, by the way. Trevor Linden on Torska, but yeah, I think Torska goes a bit deep onto the bus stop, and then Trevor tries to get exit onto the main straight, but I think Torska has got that covered. So yeah, cross the line. That was just for glory in P16 and 17, I think. And yeah, driver of the day, Alexander. I think we're gonna have to have another look at the results. Anyway, yeah, as you said, a well-deserved win, I think, for Grenade Joran, who held on to the lead for basically most of the race, right? So manages to just hold off Tipsy with that penalty, 0.1 seconds the gap at the end. All right, and then the final results on the screen. Grenade Joran wins. Just about wins from Tipsy Bob and Sonny in P3, and Girl making a good comeback drive from that spin and finishes 4th. Brassin a pretty nice drive as well, from 10th to 5th. Shakalaka finishes where he started, so 6th for him. Flesh River also finishes where he started in 7th. Hezi SX 1 position up from P9 to P8, and Alexander basically from the back of the field to P9, and Ocean Chi from P11 to P10, clinching that 1 World Championship point. And yeah, just scrolling down to the end of the results to show those. Yeah, who are we maybe thinking for the driver of the day? Maybe I'll just actually, while I'm at it, I'm just gonna browse through the entire race director here. Or
Yeah.
if anybody wants to have a look, so it's gonna be here on the stream. But yeah, who would be your pick for the driver of the day?
I'm really not sure, to be honest. I mean, there were some pretty good drives. Girl there had pretty good pace, but of course couldn't get any good result because of that spin. And Beresin also a good drive from P10 to P5.
Yeah.
Alexander, fairly anonymous drive in this race, but still well done on getting from P18 to P9. There are a lot of options, I think.
Yeah, I would be really hard pressed to actually call anybody the driver of the day from this race. But I mean, if I had to pick somebody, I might go for Grenade Joran, just for that,
Yeah.
just like steady performance and holding on to that lead and keeping his nerves in check on the final lap when Tipsy was very, very close to getting him there. So yeah, maybe Joran.
He's in control of the race, I would say, except when he got that penalty towards the end, but still managed to take the win. So I think he's deserving of driver of the day.
Yeah, and that actually means that I think we're gonna have a tie for the championship lead, because I'm just watching here the old results. So Tipsy won last time and Grenade Joran was second, and they've basically just traded spots. So it's gonna be a tie for the lead of the championship into, what's the next race? Monza? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the championship stays very much alive. All right, then I have like very limited time here, but if somebody wants a very quick interview, you guys have like 3 words to speak out here, so I'm just gonna drag somebody, Gerla is in there, so we're Gerla, we're very pressed for time here, but welcome to the interview booth. Please describe your race in 5 words or something.
Yeah, it was good. I'm happy for pole. Then got overtaken by the soft guys. Then yeah, had an incident with Tipsy, and yeah, I don't know, just made my way back to P4, which was a good recovery. But yeah, I'm sad to not bring the win now.
Yeah. Okay. So we
guys in interviews now, so.
Yeah, we saw a very similar incident in the same corner just 2 laps before that with Kebab and was it? I can't actually remember. Was it Shakalaka maybe? Anyway, they this very similar crash, and I also remember like a season ago, some idiot and Hugo in 2 SLR Tier 1 crashed there in a very similar fashion. So that's a tricky one. Anyway, Monza next week. How are your feelings for that one?
I like Monza, so maybe I can search for my win there. Hopefully.
All right. So we'll wish you the best of luck for Monza next week, and yeah, I'll move you along here just because I'm very pressed for time. So yeah, thanks,
All right.
thanks, Gerla.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And then I think let's at least talk to Sonny because he was oh, it's pretty laggy on Discord. Anyway, Sonny, a very quick interview for you because we're quite pressed for time here. But you're P3 today. You did pick up another 3-second penalty somewhere toward the end of the race there that we kind of missed. But yeah, go through your race in 30 seconds or something like that.
Okay, so I think in 30 seconds, the medium stint, the first 5-10 laps, I think that's where kind of lost me the race because I was very too slow on the medium stint, and when I pitted, I had, for some reason, I felt more comfortable on softs. Maybe it was lack of race dream practice on medium stint, but yeah, the last penalty was in the no-name corner, but I think it didn't matter because I tried to overtake Goran even with the penalty, but it didn't help. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't overtake him anyway. So it changes nothing.
Yeah,
It was a close race, very at the end.
Yeah, it was extremely close between the three of you. Of course, you picked up that extra penalty there, which kind of cost you at the end. But P3 anyway. Yeah, going on to next week, we have Monza. What are your thoughts for that?
I mean, not quite sure. Not my best track, but also not my worst. Usually, it's very setup dependent. It's not always about the pace, so we'll probably need to work on the setup for the race more than just the pace.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the plan.
All right. Yep. Good race anyway today. Maybe even if your first stint was a bit tricky, as you said. But yeah, good, tough racing at the end and podium for you. So yeah, thanks for the interview, and we wish you the best of luck to Monza.
Yeah, thank you guys. Take care.
Thank you.
And I think we're gonna have to call it there. Sorry for any guys looking for interviews here, but a bit pressed for time, unfortunately, this week. Yeah, that just closing words before we actually go off air here. But that was a good race, I think. What did you think, Pretorius?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the chat for complimenting my sexy voice.
It's definitely.
Secondly, yeah, the race was. I mean, it wasn't the best race we've seen this week, I think, but there was some decent racing, and we got a race for the front positions at least, and it was pretty competitive, I think. It's obviously good to see that there's like no certain driver just running away with the win or anything like that. So yeah, it's still looking like it is going to be a pretty good season.
Yeah, and definitely some guys who would have had the pace to challenge up front as well. I think Ocean Chief would have been one of them. He ran into trouble on lap 1 and had to drive on those hards the entire race. So yeah, looking forward to Monza definitely. Yeah, so I suppose that's it for today. Yeah, it's nice doing this commentary once again with you. So yeah, thanks for today, and a very good evening to everybody. I suppose I will stop there for today. All right, so goodbye and have a good evening, everyone.
Bye bye.